What's up, everybody? So I'm gonna go on a little rant here, all right? Because just I've noticed some things that are just ridiculous, and it really needs to be aired out, all right? So I have I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube and commented on some, and just had these civilizational invalids try to tell me certain things and just prove that they have no clue, anything about this country's history, about us, white people, Europeans, or any of the things that we've done. But it's no surprise when the media constantly lies about everything. I mean, you have this is a group of people, you know who appropriate our history constantly with this. We was Vikings and shit, we was Bretons. They think they were the ones that came over here and conquered this land. But then I have one that's having to tell me, that we stole this land. This is the thing. They're copying the Indians now too, trying to say that whites stole this land, that we're on stolen land. These people don't understand the difference between conquered and stolen. All right. I mean, it's not like the Indians weren't stealing land from each other for thousands of years before we came here. I mean, just ask the Sioux why they had to relocate to the Western Plains. That's not where they originated from, and they didn't go out there by choice. But now we have the the Africans in our country saying that, oh, you stole this land. But of course they don't understand the difference between stolen and conquered, because they never conquered anything, but they steal everything. And then another thing is, I call them Africans. That's what they are. They call themselves that. They call themselves African Americans. So they're saying that they are Africans first, Americans second. Okay? If they thought that they were Americans, if they truly had an American identity, they'd just call themselves Americans. But that's not what they do. They call themselves African Americans. So they admit that they are Africans. But when I call them Africans on social media, oh boy, they get mad. Why are you calling us Africans? We weren't born in Africa. You call yourselves Africans. You are Africans. Let's go over another thing. This country doesn't belong to them. They did not create it. Their ancestors had no hand in creating this country. They were brought here for free labor. That was it. And then somebody had it in their mind to free them and give them blanket citizenship to turn them into voting cattle. Do not be deceived. It was not. The government does nothing on a moral standard. All right. The whole reason that they gave these people, that they freed them and gave them blanket citizenship, was solely so they could become voting cattle, because they realized that these people were extremely gullible and they would simply do whatever they were told as long as they were getting something for free. And that hasn't changed. That has not changed at all. Look at these days. They still vote for the candidate or the party that is willing to give them the most free stuff, or at least says that they will. All right, so them complaining about me calling them Africans is ridiculous. All right, and them trying to say that this is their country also, and making up all this ridiculous stuff. It's gotta be put down. It's got to be corrected. They were freed from slavery, and they were given blanket citizenship. Blanket citizenship based solely on the color of someone's skin. That had never been done before, and it's never been done since. That is not how naturalization works. Congress was responsible for creating naturalization laws. You can't just make an amendment that gives an entire race of people blanket citizenship based on the color of their skin. But I mean, the government had been usurping power, before the Civil War, during it, and of course after it. So these people feel like they have a right to this country, that they have a right to steer the future of this country and how everything goes. But this is the paradox, of giving a bunch of people blanket citizenship who are inferior to us politically. They are inferior to us politically, all right? When you talk about superiority or inferiority, it's not across the board. There's things that white people are superior at, and there's things that we are inferior at, okay? There's things that black people are superior at and inferior at, okay? And politics, civilized society, creating a functional country, economy, etc., they are inferior at that. These people did not understand our way of life. They did not understand our government. They did not understand what a representative government was. All right, obviously here in America we don't have just tribal laws where tribal elders decide everything. We have a complex system of government and laws, and these people have never understood that. They didn't understand it when they were given blanket citizenship. And this is the whole reason groups like the KKK came around. This whole reason why this, voter suppression movements came around, because a lot of people in the South and the North understood that these people did not understand enough to be able to vote with a conscience, to be able to, vote in a way that would help our country. All they've done is vote in a way that hinders our country, because they will vote for anybody who is willing to give them free stuff. It happened back then, and it happened now. But this all comes from the fact that they never created anything. They didn't create their own countries. You have places like Rhodesia. That was created by whites, created by Dutch. South Africa. That was created by whites. And what did they do? They went and kicked all the whites out. They murdered them, they chased them out. And then they renamed Rhodesia into Zimbabwe. And now they've done the same thing in South Africa. They've run all the whites out. So they're allowed to do that in the countries that they don't even create. But because it's on the continent that they originated in, it's okay. But here in America, we're not allowed to kick them out. We're not allowed to even prevent them from voting and destroying our country. How does that work? In Mexico right now, they're literally citizens, not the government, citizens of Mexico are literally going up and rounding up white people and driving them to the border and kicking them out of their country. They are literally chasing people out of their country. But we're supposed to rely on our federal government to get rid of all the uncivilized people in our country who are destroying our country, our neighborhoods, our cities, the places where we live. America used to be a pretty safe place until the forced integration at the tip of a bayonet, until our government started letting in a whole bunch of uncivilized people who don't understand the concept of laws or our form of government, who don't understand what it means to be a functioning member of a civilized society. They don't understand it, so they can't function here. Why can we, as citizens, not do the same thing, form roving gangs and just round them up and kick them out, since our government won't do it? I mean, I've seen many, many comments and posts and news articles, etc., where it seems like the majority of white people in this country don't want uncivilized third worlders living here in our communities. We do not want to have to share our communities, our neighborhoods, our roads with them. We don't want to have to share our businesses with them. I mean, the Hispanics move here, and Orlando, Florida, a lot of places in Florida are a very good, case scenario here, where they move here and they somehow open businesses, even though they don't speak, read, or write English. I don't know how you fill out the forms and get the necessary license and stuff if you can't read English or speak or write English, but somehow they do it. I'm sure the Florida government helps them, just to make sure that they can open up a business. They put all their business signs in Spanish to make sure that, us Floridians don't go shop there, that we don't partake in their business. Their business is only for their people. And that is how you drive out the indigenous people of a place that you've basically invaded. That's how you know it's an invasion. When they put up signs, it's all in their language. Okay? And this all happened because we allowed a bunch of people in our country who did not understand anything about our country, our history, our form of government, or our system of laws to have blanket citizenship and be able to vote, because the people who want to destroy this country use them as voting cattle. The people who want to destroy this country so they can recreate it in a way that will make, be more beneficial to them. They're the ones who made this happen. They're the ones who used these Africans as voting cattle. And that is why we are in the situation that we are in today. But the truth of the matter is, America belongs to the descendants of the white Europeans that came here. It says so in the preamble of the Constitution. For ourselves and our posterity. They did not say the posterity of the entire world, the posterity of whoever managed to come into this country at some point or another, or who got freed here and given blanket citizenship. It doesn't work like that. They had no hand in creating this country, and they should not have a say in how this country goes. So, we need to do something about it. Something's got to be done. And I'm not saying it's every black person. A lot of them have gotten on board and learned our system of laws and government, and they behave like civilized individuals. But the majority, probably about 95% of them, have not and never will. And they're going to teach their children the same way. Okay? I mean, you can look at videos all over YouTube, all over the internet, and just see how these people behave now, especially after desegregation. You know, the way they behave in our communities, in our businesses, in our cities and towns. This is not what America was supposed to be. Nowhere near. So, you know, honestly, if the Mexican citizens can round up white people and kick them out of their country, if the Africans can round up white people and drive them out of their country, or not even their country, a country that was created by whites on their continent, I don't see why we can't do the same thing here. This is our country, not theirs. Our ancestors built it, not them. We did not steal it, we conquered it. And we have a bunch of people living here that cannot understand the basic concepts, the basic differences between conquered and stolen, or the basic concepts of laws and government, and what it means to actually vote in a representative type of government, and that you don't just vote for whoever says they're going to give you the most free stuff. You vote for the people who are going to do what's best for the nation as a whole. So that's my rant for today. You guys think about it, figure it out for yourselves, but I am sick and tired of it, and something has got to be done, and obviously the government's not going to do it.